Hello everyone. Now let us start with part 2 of motor neuron disease. In this part we will learn about diagnosis and management, which consists medical and rehabilitative management. Diagnosis of MND. There is no definitive diagnostic test except for the genetic test. EMG and NCV. EMG shows anterior horn cells damage and so diffuse degenerative changes in EMG. Here MRI study we can suggest for the differentiate the other pathology like tumor or any other pathology. Then we can also suggest muscle biopsy, which shows atrophic changes. In CSF study mostly the normal findings occurs, and in CPK there is a mildly raised level or it may be normal, which is differentiate the MND from other myopathies, because in other myopathies the CPK level is so much high. So these all are used to support the diagnosis and exclude the other diagnosis. Here in a figure you can see the normal EMG findings and findings of EMG in amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. If you see properly, then you can see there is at rest there is a silent phase in normal EMG findings, but in ALS you have fibrillation and fasciculation at rest. And whenever we are taking EMG with voluntary contraction, the motor units are closely spaced in a normal EMG findings, but in ALS you can see the motor units are decreased in number with high amplitude and long duration polyphasics. So these are the comparison study of EMG, of normal EMG and ALS EMG. Here are the flow chart of the criteria for the diagnosis of ALS. We know there is a variability in the clinical findings in the early stage of ALS. So World Federation of Neurology Research Group on MND has established standard criteria to diagnose ALS. So according to this criteria, the diagnosis of ALS is classified into clinically definite ALS, clinically probable with laboratory support, and possible categories. So from this you can say if the upper motor neuron symptoms and lower motor neuron symptoms are present in more than 3 or 4 regions of the body, then you can say it is clinically definitive criteria to diagnose the ALS. Okay. Management of MND mainly includes medical management, which mainly include symptomatic treatment, and it also requires rehabilitation of a patient. So first we discuss the medical management. There is no definitive treatment. Here the riluzole, which is a glutamate release inhibitor, can be given to the patient with MND, because it may be decrease the or slow down the disease process, but it cannot reverse the disease and cannot stop the disease. And other symptomatic treatment includes antidepressant, because patient have normal cognition with progression in disability, so patient is in tremendous depression, so antidepressants are given. Antispastic agents like baclofen and dantrolene. then anticholinergic drugs, and in advanced phase of disease, ventilatory support is given. In spite of medical management, patient with MND requires total rehabilitation and rehabilitation by a multidisciplinary team. And the physiotherapist is a important part of this rehabilitation team. And physiotherapy intervention mainly consists of restorative intervention, compensatory intervention, and preventive intervention. Restorative intervention means in this main focus is to restore the functional capability by restoring the range, strength, and endurance. In compensatory intervention, mainly in this intervention, our main focus is to modify the activity, task, and environment in such a way that we can enhance the independence level of the patient. So in this intervention, you can give corrective planes or corrective supports to enhance the independence level. And in preventive intervention, mainly consists of prevention of secondary complications which are occur in a late stage of MND. So here you can see the members from different disciplinary field are the members of the rehabilitation team. They include social workers, dietitian, neurologist, physiotherapist, occupational therapist, speech and language therapist, psychologist, counselors, specialist nurse, orthotist, and respiratory therapist. As we know, MND is a progressive and deteriorating disease with inevitable progress to disability. Patient with MND, or especially patient with ALS, which is a variant of MND, will present with unique and different sets of problems. As we know, in ALS there is involvement of UMN plus LMN. So patient represents clinical features of both UMN and LMN. So patient have a unique and different sets of problem eventually, right? So our treatment strategy will be vary accordingly, right? So for that we have to first assess the patient properly and decide that in which stage of ALS patient falls. There are three stages of ALS. First is early stage, second is middle, and third is late stage. Middle stage is further divided into early middle stage and late middle stage. So from our assessment, we have to decide patient is in early, middle, or late stage, and accordingly we can plan our management strategies. Suppose patient is in early phase, then our main focus first we have to give psychological confidence. So in first we have to explain the disease nature. We have to explain the which difficulty they have faced in future, and what can they do by physiotherapy so they can extend their disability, right? So or they can extend their independent status. Okay, so in this way we have to give idea about how the physiotherapy treatment will help them. Okay, so in first stage our main goal is to restore the functional abilities of the patient. For that we have to give active range of motion exercises for all the joints. Then we have to give submaximal or minimum resisted exercise. Then we have to also focus on the restoration of the cardiopulmonary endurance. For that we have to give advise for the diaphragmatic breathing, segmental breathing. We can also advise for whistling and ballooning, and also advise for the static cycling or do dynamic cycling, jogging, walking, or running, swimming for the endurance purpose, right? You can also give advice for lifestyle modification, means in this patient can focus more on the physical activity or physical status rather than sedentary lifestyle, and you can also advise for the pranayam and yoga for stretching purpose. As disease progresses, patient may have difficulty in ADS, and uh, their dependency level increases. So mainly patient have difficulty in the distal limb movements, and so for that you can advise different AF for the lower limbs, different splints like cock-up splints, knuckle blender splints for the upper limb at this stage. Then you can also give advice for the stretching exercise, active assisted and passive exercises. Here the spasticity is there, so you can also advise for the weight bearing exercise and slow passive movement for reduction of the spasticity. You can also advise icing, and you can also advise for the endurance and strengthening exercise. Here patient is uh, somewhat dependent in the ambulation, so you can advise for assistive devices like first cane, then walker, roller walker, and eventually you can put the patient on the manual wheelchair. Then as the disease progresses, you can also put the patient on the motorized wheelchair, and you can also advise at this stage modification for the home place and workplace. Modification mainly includes use of rails, bathroom modification, use of toilet chair with increased height. Patient may have difficulty in from sitting to standing, so you can advise self-powered uplift chair. Then here you can also advise for the clothing modification. For that patient can use zipper and push buttons. Then for the shoe wear modification, you can advise elastic lace shoes, and also modify the workplace station according the patient's requirement. In late stage of ALS or MND, patient is mostly bedridden and mostly depend on the family members for his or her daily activities. So at this stage, our main concern is to give advice or give lifting, proper lifting and transfer and turning advices to the family members. Then our another main aim at this stage is to prevent the secondary complications, mainly cardiopulmonary complications, DVT, limb edema, and pressure source. So for that we have to give advice for the airbed or waterbed, frequent turning of the patient, and inspect the skin periodically. For the DVT and distal edema, for that we have to give elevation advices and give passive range of motion for the reducing the edema. Then for the cardiopulmonary complications, we have to focus, or we have to optimize the ventilation by mobilizing the secretions. For that we have to give proper positioning, or you can give if possible PD positioning, enhance the cuffing. If needed, you can use humidifier or nebulizer, and you can also use suction machine. And at this stage patient may suffer from the pain because there is a severe spasticity, so we have to focus to reduce the spasticity by giving slow and prolonged icing and sustain and prolonged stretching exercise of the tight muscles. At this stage patient may have difficulty in swallowing, that you can say dysphagia. For that we have to modify the dietary advice by giving the liquid diet and advice for the maintenance of the hydration and proper positioning while eating. So we have to teach a proper positioning like straight sitting and chin tucking position uh, whenever giving food. So this may reduce the chances of aspiration pneumonia. At this stage patient may have speech problem, that is known as dysarthria, so you can suggest speech therapy at this level. And at this level you can also use the communication board for the communication and computers or voice prosthesis for the communication. So these can be management strategies at the later stage of ALS. So here are the figures of adaptive equipments that you can advise for the patient with MND. You can see the grab bars, heighted toilet chair, rails in the bathrooms. Here is a long-handed jar opener for the easy grass, and a plate guard and foam tubing uh, with long hand at the fork. Then shoes with elastic race. Then long-handed shoe horn, and you can see the long and broad foam tubing at the handle of the comb, pens, toothbrush, spoon and knife. Here is a self-powered uplift seat, so you can facilitate the patient from sitting to standing, because this is very difficult in patient with MND. So this is all over with MND, and I have taken reference from Sullivan and Golwala, so you can refer this book for further reading. So thank you all.